The 1970s saw science fiction break boundaries and challenge minds. Stories of time travel, alternate realities, and galactic war. For the next 20 minutes or so, you and I are diving into the science fiction archives to look at 10 of the most unforgettable novels from this groundbreaking decade. Published in 1974, Inverted World by Christopher Priest introduces us to Hellwood Man, a young man coming of age in a city unlike any other. This city, which its inhabitants simply call Earth, is in constant motion, dragged on massive railroad tracks at a painstakingly slow pace of 0.1 miles per day. Their goal is to reach an elusive, ever-shifting destination known only as the optimum. But the reality of this journey is far stranger than Hellwood could ever have imagined. The city's inhabitants live isolated lives, largely unaware of the bizarre world beyond their walls. Only the men of the various guilds, like the future surveyors to which Hellwood is apprenticed, are allowed to leave and face the alien landscape outside. Hellwood soon discovers that not only does time and space warp in disturbing ways, but the very sun in the sky looks unnatural, and people from distant villages undergo grotesque physical changes the further that they travel from the city. These mysteries only deepen as Hellwood tries to understand the cryptic directive written by the city's founder, which dictates its relentless journey forwards. As Hellwood wrestles with his duties, he encounters Elizabeth Kahn, a newcomer with a radically different perspective on the city and its world. Her revelations challenge everything Hellwood has come to believe about his life and the mission of the city, exposing the truth behind their distorted reality. Yet even as the city faces crises that could halt its movement forever, Hellwood is torn between the undeniable evidence presented to him and his loyalty to the traditions that have sustained his people for generations. Through the lens of a surreal science fiction landscape, Inverted World explores the tension between progress and survival, between belief and reality, and the lengths a society will go to preserve its way of life. In 1970's Tau Zero by Poul the starship Leonora Christine, carrying 25 men and 25 women, sets out on a colonisation mission to the star Beta Virginis. Powered by a Bussard ramjet, the ship can't travel faster than light, meaning the crew will experience time dilation. What feels like 5 years aboard will be 33 on Earth. However, disaster strikes when the ship passes through a nebula and damages the deceleration field generators, making it impossible for the ship to slow down. With the engine still running to shield the crew from deadly radiation, the ship must continue to accelerate, bringing them closer to the speed of light and far, far beyond their original destination. As they race through space, time dilation grows extreme, taking them millions of years and countless galaxies away from any chance of returning to humanity. Their only hope is to find a region of space where they can safely make repairs, but as they travel between galaxies and eventually even beyond the superclusters, they find that the universe itself might be running out of time. Amid the crisis, Constable Charles Raymond struggles to maintain order and morale amongst the crew. His hard-edged leadership style is crucial in keeping the community intact as they face both the emotional toll of isolation and the mounting terror of their seemingly endless voyage. The crew's journey through time and space approaches the unimaginable as they experience the universe collapsing in a big crunch and then exploding into a new Big Bang. Against seemingly insurmountable odds, can the Leonora Christine survive? Will the acceleration ever stop, and can the Constable hold the crew together until they can find somewhere to settle? Tau Zero is a gripping exploration of human endurance, cosmic phenomena, and the nature of time itself, striking a great balance between the amazing physics and the human factor aboard the ship. In 1971's A Time of Changes by Robert Silverberg, we're in the distant future on the planet Velada Borthan, where society is governed by the rigid covenant which forbids self-expression. The words I and me are considered obscene, taboo even, and people must only refer to themselves through third-person pronouns, denying their individual identity. In this oppressive world, Kinal Daraval, a prince from the province of Sala, struggles with existential doubts and an illicit love for his bond sister Hallam, a forbidden relationship that only deepens his sense of isolation. As Kinal wrestles with his inner turmoil, his chance encounter with an Earthman named Schweitz changes everything. Schweitz introduces Kinal to a powerful drug that enables telepathic sharing, allowing individuals to experience each other's thoughts and emotions without barriers. This mind-opening experience awakens Kinal to the possibility of breaking free from the repressive covenant. Inspired and emboldened, he begins to spread the drug amongst others, creating a movement that defies the core values of his society. Kinal's revolutionary path is fraught with danger as his growing cult of self-bearers poses a threat to the very fabric of his world's traditions. He must navigate betrayal, grief, and a violent backlash from the authorities as he pushes the boundaries of what it means to be an individual in a society that demands conformity. Yet his journey remains ambiguous. Will his rebellion spark lasting change, or is it merely an illusion born from the drug's effects? Whilst the previous 3 novels were all nominated for a Hugo, this next book actually won it in 1975. The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin is set on the twin worlds of Anaris and Urus, both orbiting Tau Ceti. The story follows Shevek, a brilliant physicist from the anarchist society of Anares, as he seeks to bridge the ideological divide between his home and the capitalist, patriarchal world of Urus. On Anaris, society is founded on anarcho-syndicalist ideals where personal property and self-interest are rejected in favour of communal responsibility. Shevek's groundbreaking work on a general temporal theory is stifled by political barriers and a jealous superior, forcing him to wrestle with the limits of freedom in his seemingly utopian world. Burdened by manual labour during a drought, Shevek's struggle reflects the tension between individual creativity and wider obligations in an environment that demands collective contributions. Seeking an outlet for his work, Shevek travels to Urus, where he is initially embraced as a genius. However, he quickly becomes disillusioned by the hierarchical, materialistic society that he encounters. While his research could lead to faster-than-light travel, Shevek realises that the Urasti elite are more interested in using it for war and profit. As political unrest escalates with Urus embroiled in proxy wars and revolutionary movements, Shevek must confront the darker implications of his theories being exploited by those in power. In a climactic moment, Shevek aligns himself with an underground anarchist movement on Urus and joins in a labour protest that is brutally crushed. Realising that his ideas could only perpetuate the cycle of exploitation, Shevek turns to the neutral Terran embassy, entrusting them with his discovery to share freely with the universe. The novel ends with Shevek returning to Anaris, having risked everything to pursue true freedom and unity between worlds. Another Hugo Award winner, this time in 1979, Dreamsnake by Vonda McIntyre is set in a post-apocalyptic world devastated by nuclear war, where remnants of humanity live in tribal societies under the shadow of a high-tech city known as Center. The protagonist, Snake, is a healer who travels across the wasteland with 3 genetically engineered snakes: Sand, the rattlesnake, Mist, the cobra, and Grass, an alien dreamsnake. Dreamsnakes have a unique ability to soothe the dying by letting them dream, making them vital to Snake's healing work. When her dream snake is killed by a fearful nomadic tribe, Snake is left without a crucial tool for her craft. Determined to find another, Snake embarks on a dangerous journey across the irradiated landscape. Along the way, she encounters a variety of societies and individuals, each with their own struggles in a world ravaged by destruction. From a woman suffering from radiation poisoning to a girl scarred by abuse, Snake's encounters demonstrate the power of healing, both physical and emotional. As Snake searches for answers about the elusive dream snake, she uncovers long-held secrets about their alien biology and breeding habits. Her quest takes her into the dangerous territory of a leader named North, who uses dream snakes to control his followers. In the cold, snake-filled pit where she's imprisoned, Snake makes a breakthrough that could change everything. Ultimately, Dreamsnake is a story of resilience, of healing, and the pursuit of knowledge. It explores deep themes of gender, power, and the balance between science and nature. McIntyre's novel redefines the hero's journey through Snake, a woman whose strength lies not in violence, but in her compassion and determination to save lives, even in a world where life is so fragile. Before we go on, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favour and give the like button a little tickle. It really helps YouTube to decide whether or not to share the video more widely. And also tell me, what are your favourite science fiction books from the 1970s? What have I missed out? Do let us all know in the comments down below. Kindred by Octavia Butler is a gripping, genre-defined novel that blends historical fiction with time travel, exploring race, power and identity. The story follows Dana, a young black writer living in 1976 California, who is inexplicably pulled back through time to the early 1800s to a Maryland plantation. There she saves the life of Rufus, a white boy, child of a plantation owner. Dana's repeated trips between her present and the brutal realities of slavery reveal shocking truths about her family's past and challenge her sense of self. In the past, Dana must navigate the dangerous and violent world of slavery, where her existence as both a modern black woman and a time traveller makes her something of an anomaly, to say the least. As Dana builds a complex and fraught relationship with Rufus, who grows from a vulnerable child into a cruel slaveholder, Dana grapples with questions of morality, survival and agency. Each time she returns to 1976, she is physically and emotionally scarred by her experience in the antebellum South, and her marriage to Kevin, a white man, is strained by their shared but deeply different journeys. Kindred is both a searing critique of America's history of slavery and the legacy of oppression, and an intimate look at the ways in which the past shapes the present. With its blend of speculative and historical fiction, Kindred remains a powerful and timeless exploration of race, trauma and identity. Another Hugo Award winner, our next book is 1974's The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. William Mandela is a straight-A physics student thrust into an interstellar war against the alien Taurans. Drafted into an elite task force, Mandela and his highly intelligent comrades endure brutal training on Earth and on a planet beyond Pluto. The war is waged across vast distances through collapsars, where travelling at near light speeds causes massive time dilation, stretching years into centuries. In their first encounter, Mandela and his unit annihilate the seemingly defenceless Taurans, sparking a war that spirals through time. When he returns to Earth after what feels to him like 2 years, he finds a society radically changed over decades. Overpopulation and social upheaval have restructured humanity into a foreign world where homosexuality is encouraged, and veterans like Mandela struggle to adapt. Disillusioned and out of place, Mandela re-enlists. As he fights, more time passes and humanity evolves into a nearly unrecognisable species. Mandela rises in rank, though more by longevity than ambition, commanding soldiers whose language and culture have become alien to him. In one battle, he and his troops are forced to use medieval weapons due to technological limitations caused by stasis fields. Ultimately, the war's end reveals a devastating truth. Reunited with his lover, Mary Gay, on a distant colony world, Mandela finds peace after years of relentless war, highlighting the absurdity of conflict and the vast, irreparable toll it takes on the individuals who fight them. The Female Man by Joanna Russ, published in 1975, is a groundbreaking feminist science fiction novel that explores the lives of 4 women from parallel universes, each shaped by radically different social norms. The story follows 4 women, Joanna, Janine, Janet and Jael, as they traverse each other's worlds, confronting the vast disparities in gender roles and expectations. Joanna lives in a 1970s Earth a lot like ours, bound by patriarchal norms. Janine comes from a timeline where the Great Depression never ended, stifling any feminist progress. And Janet hails from While Away, a utopian future where a plague wiped out all men centuries ago, leaving women to thrive in a peaceful all-female society. Whereas Jael exists in a dystopian world where men and women are locked in a literal battle of the sexes, with violent conflict and political manoeuvring shaping their every interaction. Through their various encounters, these women confront the rigid confines of their respective worlds. Joanna's inspired to adopt a female man mentality, rejecting the idea that a woman must depend on men for validation. Janet's visit to Joanne's 1970s Earth reveals the casual misogyny and power imbalances that permeate male-female relationships, while her own self-assurance challenges these norms. Janine struggles with societal pressures to conform, eventually deciding to embrace her expected role despite lingering dissatisfaction. Jael, a hardened assassin from the gender war, brings the women together with a bold plan to incite revolution across their worlds, allowing women to overthrow patriarchal systems. While Janet, a symbol of While Away's pacifism, resists the violent solution, Joanna and Janine agree to help, invigorated by the possibility of change. In the end, The Female Man offers a provocative exploration of gender, of identity, and the varied paths towards female empowerment, challenging us to reimagine roles in society and the very boundaries of womanhood. Published in 1972, Isaac Asimov's Hugo-winning The Gods Themselves is a visionary tale that spans Earth, a parallel universe, and the Moon, exploring the consequences of humanity's reckless pursuit of limitless energy. The story is divided into 3 parts, each focusing on the groundbreaking electron pump, a device that exchanges matter between our universe and a parallel one. This innovation promises a nearly endless supply of clean energy, but it hides a terrible cost: the potential destruction of the Sun and the collapse of the Milky Way into a supernova, which might be a bit of a problem. In the first part, we follow physicist Peter Lamont, who uncovers that the pump's continued use could lead to catastrophic consequences for both universes. Yet despite his warnings, our desire for cheap energy outweighs reason, and he struggles to find allies who will help stop the impending disaster. The second part transports us to the parallel universe, where beings called soft ones and hard ones live by different physical laws. These soft, free-gendered beings use the electron pump to prevent their own star's collapse, even at the risk of dooming Earth. Dua, a rebellious emotional, discovers the dangerous truth and tries to stop the pump, but her society remains unwilling to sacrifice their own survival for another universe's safety. The final part takes place on a lunar colony, where physicist Dennison devises a new solution that balances the energy exchange between universes. However, the discovery leads to political strife as the Lunarites push for independence from Earth. As humanity's fate hangs in the balance, Dennison's breakthrough offers hope, not just for saving Earth's sun, but also for exploring the stars. With themes of scientific hubris, interspecies ethics, and the quest for autonomy, The Gods Themselves is a reflection on the risks of unchecked advancement. Kate Wilhelm's Where the Late Birds Sing, published in 1976, went on to win the Hugo Award and was nominated for a bunch of others. This book is a haunting exploration of humanity's survival in a post-apocalyptic world. Set in Virginia along the Shenandoah River, the novel opens with a grim future where global environmental collapse and disease have left the human race infertile. A large, well-resourced family retreats to an isolated community and, desperate to save the species, turns to cloning. Their hope that after several generations, fertility will naturally return. However, the clones who emerge develop their own societal rules. Growing in groups of identical individuals, they form a deep emotional and mental bond with their fellow clones, rejecting individuality and traditional reproduction. When the last surviving members of the original family realise that the clones intend to continue cloning indefinitely, they're too old and powerful to resist. The new society is ruled by conformity and collective thinking, but there is a flaw. As the clones expand their territory, they find that separation from their group causes crippling psychological stress. Molly, a clone who experiences this isolation, begins to regain her individuality, a trait now seen as dangerous. Exiled for her independence, she secretly gives birth to a son, Mark, the first naturally born human in generations. As Mark grows, his individuality and creativity flourishes. As Mark grows up, his individuality and creativity flourish, in stark contrast to the clones who are losing their capacity for innovation. He recognises that the clones' rigid society is doomed. Leading a rebellion, Mark gathers fertile women and children, breaking free from the sterile, dying clone community. Years later, Mark returns to find the once thriving clone society has collapsed, unable to adapt. In its place, his new community of naturally born humans thrives, a symbol of humanity's resilience and the triumph of individuality over uniformity. Where Late the Sweet Bird Sang is a powerful and beautifully written reflection on identity, creativity and survival in a changing world. If you like the sound of those 10 books, you might also appreciate this look at space opera from the same decade. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye for now.